Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be back, and in today's video I wanted to give you guys an update on everything that I've been working on in my garden so far. So the things that I wanted to give you guys an update on is the radishes. I told you guys that I was going to be planting radishes in today's video, like the video that you're watching today, and I have done that, but I had a few hiccups and I wanted to kind of share those with you guys. And then I also started some other vegetables, so let's go ahead and get started and I can show you guys what I've been working on. So the first thing we did was we had to take out everything that was already in the garden beds from last year. And you guys remember how big and tall my tomato plants were from last year, so there was a lot of stuff in there. There was no way I could have planted anything in there without first taking out all the old stuff. And then the next thing we did was we tilled the garden bed. And we did that just to kind of like loosen up the soil because for radishes, obviously they're like a rooting vegetable, so the roots are going to form underground and the vegetable itself is going to form underground. So we wanted to make the soil as loose as possible to allow for the radishes to, like, you know, grow out as big as they can. So that was the second thing that we did. That took us a while because obviously there was a lot of, like, the tomatoes were huge from last year, so that took us a while, but we eventually did that. And then the next thing I did was I just raked out all the leaves. There was like a lot of leaves and a lot of like just debris in there, so I cleared all of that out, and then we were pretty much ready to go and start planting the radishes. I didn't add fertilizer to the garden bed because I know that when you're planting radishes, you shouldn't. That's like something that I've read online, and I've also like watched on YouTube other people. When they do it, they don't fertilize the soil before they plant the radishes because the radishes tend to do better without any fertilization. So I didn't do that myself. Spacing wise, I did rows of about like maybe 4 or 5 inches away from each other, and then for the holes themselves where the radishes were gonna go, I did spacing of maybe like 2 or 3 inches. So I'm hoping that that's enough spacing for the radishes, because I know they're not supposed to be like huge radishes, so I'm thinking that the way I did it is there's going to be enough space for the radishes to grow as big as they can. My next project was planting the Swiss chard. I have the 2 different varieties of Swiss chard, which was a rhubarb Swiss chard and the red ruby Swiss chard, and I planted those in crates. You guys remember last year I had planted the Swiss chard in the little orange containers, and this year I wanted to grow a little bit more Swiss chard, and so I opted to go with the crates instead because I have more crates than I had the other containers from last year. So I ended up doing that, and the only issue I'm having with the Swiss chard is that it's been almost, I think at this point it's been 2 weeks since I planted the Swiss chard, and I've yet to see anything. Like, there's nothing at all in the crates. The seeds have not germinated whatsoever. I don't know if you guys remember last year when I transplanted the kale from the seedlings, like the little seedling trays that I had, out into the garden, and they got decimated by the birds. I thought the same thing happened with the radishes, and that's why they weren't coming up. But it turns out that it's just been extremely cold here. Like, we've had days where it's been like in the 30s and the 40s even during the day, and it's like May. So I mean, I thought that it was like past the point where I wouldn't have to worry about the seeds not germinating, especially for radishes, because they are cold hardy. But I think just because of we're not having any sunshine at all during the day, and then it was super rainy and super cold, so I think that's why they didn't end up germinating, was just because of the cold temperatures. And so now that they finally come up and I can finally see them, I know that it wasn't like the birds or anything. But I can't explain why the Swiss chard has not come up yet. So what I'm planning on doing is just planting it again in seed starting trays, because all of my other seeds that I've put in the seed starting trays have germinated, and I'm not sure why these ones haven't germinated yet, because now at this point it's been, yeah, as I said, like 10, 11, maybe even 12 days, coming on 2 weeks since I planted them, and nothing has come up. So I definitely want to try starting them in the seed starting trays and see if that's going to help. The next thing I worked on was the tomatoes. So I ended up realizing like 2 weeks after I had planted my other tomatoes, that I completely forgot to plant cherry tomatoes. I don't know how that slipped my mind. I don't know how I didn't notice the seeds like in the bag where I keep all my other seeds. But I was going through my seeds one day and I was like, wait a minute, I never planted the cherry tomatoes. So that's something that I had to do like right away, because I know time is ticking and time is not on my side. So I ended up planting them, and they've already germinated and they are doing amazing now. They're a little bit leggy because after I planted them, I kind of forgot about them, and then when they germinated and when they came up, I didn't even notice them. I didn't even like I didn't even like think about them. And so I think it was like maybe like 3 or 4 days later after they had germinated that I went and checked, and I was like, oh my god, they look so leggy. I have to put them under the lights, because they weren't under lights at all. They were just like kind of like sitting somewhere in my, like at one place in my house, and they just look really leggy. But I'm trying to fix that by, I'm gonna add more soil into the containers, see if that helps. And I'm also gonna, I have it under grow lights now, so that should be taken care of. So this is what the radishes are looking like right now. As you guys can see, the Malaga radish and the 18-day radish are doing a lot better than the scarlet radish, and I'm not sure why there's a difference, because they all came up the same time. But it just seems like the scarlet ones are, some of them have germinated, some of them are still coming out of the ground, some of them look healthier, some of them don't. And so I'm not sure why there's a big difference between the other two varieties and the scarlet variety. I also have the netting over the top of the radishes, because I know birds will try and get them, just like they did with last year, with the kill from last year. So I have them covered with the netting. And I think that's everything that I have going on and that I wanted to share with you guys. So I am so excited to share with you guys that I will be taking you guys on a tour on my next video of my community garden. You guys know how excited I was for that, and how I was like keeping my fingers crossed that I would get it, and I did get it. And so my next video is gonna hopefully be me taking you guys on the tour and showing you guys around. They are really big spaces. They're 10 by 30 for one bed, and I have 2 spots, or like 2, I don't know, 2 plots I guess you would call it. So I have tons and tons of space to grow whatever I want, and I'm so excited. And I'm hoping that if the weather continues like this, where we have like days in the 60s and nights like in the 40s and 50s, I'm hoping that I can be able to grow more stuff out there, because I can't wait to get my hands like just in the dirt and like starting to plant stuff. I'm so excited. So I hope that that's going to be the next video that I show you guys. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video.